Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are making history as we receive Black history. That's right. You and I together are hopefully sharing this information so it can impact the next generation and impact us. Let's honor a Black scientist by the name of George Carruthers. Scientist George Carruthers created inventions such as the ultraviolet camera or spectrograph, which was used by NASA in the 1972 Apollo 16 flight, revealing the mysteries of space and the Earth's atmosphere. Scientist George Carruthers built his first telescope at the age of 10. He earned his PhD in aeronautical and astronomical engineering at the University of Illinois in 1964 and began working at the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory. His telescope and image converter was used to identify molecular hydrogen in space, and his ultraviolet camera or spectrograph was used by Apollo 16 during the flight to the moon. Carruthers was born on October 1st, 1939 in Cincinnati, Ohio, the eldest of George and Sophia Carruthers' 4 children. George Carruthers Sr. was a civil engineer with the U.S. Army Air Corps and encouraged his son's early interest in science. By the age of 10, the young Carruthers had constructed his own telescope with cardboard tubing and mail-order lenses. He bought these lenses with money he earned as a delivery boy. Carruthers' father died when the boy was only 12. After his death, the family moved to Chicago, where Sophia went to work for the U.S. Postal Service. Despite the emotional setback, Carruthers continued pursuing science. As one of only a handful of African Americans competing in Chicago's high school science fairs, he won 3 awards, including first prize for a telescope that he designed and built. In 1957, Carruthers graduated from Chicago's Inglewood High School and entered the engineering program at the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana campus. While an undergraduate, Carruthers focused on aerospace engineering and astronomy. After earning his bachelor's degree in physics in 1961, Carruthers stayed on at the University of Illinois, earning his master's in nuclear engineering in 1962 and his PhD in aeronautical and astronautical engineering in 1964. In 1964, he went to work for the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory as a National Science Foundation postdoctoral fellow. 2 years later, he became a full-time research physicist at the NRL's E.O. Hulbert Center for Space Research. On November 11, 1969, Carruthers was awarded a patent for his image converter for detecting electromagnetic radiation, especially in short wavelengths. During a 1970 rocket flight, Carruthers' UV telescope, or spectrograph, and image converter provided the first proof of the existence of molecular hydrogen in interstellar space. Carruthers' invention was used on April 21, 1972, during the first lunar walk of the Apollo 16 mission. For the first time, scientists were able to examine the Earth's atmosphere for concentrations of pollutants and see UV images of more than 550 stars, nebulae, and galaxies. Carruthers was awarded NASA's Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal for the work on the project. In the 1980s, one of Carruthers' inventions captured an ultraviolet image of Halley's Comet. In 1991, he invented a camera that was used in the Space Shuttle mission. Carruthers also extends his efforts to education. He helped create a program called the Science and Engineers Apprentice Program, which gave high school students the opportunity to work at the Naval Research Laboratory. In 1996 and 1997, he taught a course in Earth and Space Science for DC Public Schools science teachers. Then, in 2002, Carruthers began teaching a course on Earth and Space Science at Howard University. Carruthers passed away on December 26, 2020, at a hospital in Washington. Carruthers, who lived in the district, received the NASA Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal and was named to the National Inventors Hall of Fame. He also received the National Medal of Technology and Innovation, presented by President Barack Obama at a White House ceremony in 2013. Thank you, George. another icon whose inventions and research helped propel us into the future. Thank you for watching yet another video from the Last Science Show. Continue to like, subscribe, comment, and share for more great content. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good science. The first black scientist we are going to honor is George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver was an African-American scientist and educator. Carver is famous for many inventions, including a number of uses for the peanut. George Washington Carver was born enslaved and went on to become one of the most prominent scientists and inventors of his time, as well as a teacher of the Tuskegee Institute. Carver devised over 100 products using one major crop, the peanut, including dyes, plastics, and gasoline. Carver was most likely born in 1864, enslaved in Diamond, Missouri, during the Civil War years. Like many children of the enslaved, the exact year and date of his birth are unknown. Carver was one of many children born to Mary and Giles, an enslaved couple owned by Moses Carver. A week after his birth, Carver was kidnapped along with his sister and mother from the Carver farm by raiders from the neighboring state of Arkansas. The three were later sold in Kentucky. Among them, only the infant Carver was located by an agent of Moses Carver and returned to Missouri. The conclusion of the Civil War in 1865 brought the end of slavery in Missouri. Moses and his wife Susan decided to keep Carver and his brother James at their house after that time. As she had been in high school, Jemison was very involved in extracurricular activities at Stanford, including dance and theater productions, and served as head of the Black Student Union. She received a Bachelor of Science degree in Chemical Engineering from the university in 1977. Upon graduation, she entered Cornell University Medical College and, during her years there, found time to expand her horizons by studying in Cuba and Kenya and working at a Cambodian refugee camp in Thailand. After Jemison obtained her MD in 1981, she interned at Los Angeles County / University of Southern California Medical Center and later worked as a general practitioner. For the next 2.5 years, she was the Area Peace Corps Medical Officer for Sierra Leone and Liberia, where she also taught and did medical research. Following her return to the United States in 1985, Jemison made a career change and decided to follow a dream she had nurtured for a long time. In October, she applied for admission to NASA's astronaut training program. The Challenger disaster of January 1986 delayed the selection process, but when she reapplied a year later, Jemison was one of the 15 candidates chosen from a field of about 2,000. On June 4, 1987, Jemison became the first African-American woman to be admitted into the NASA astronaut training program. After more than a year of training, she became the first African-American woman astronaut, earning the title of Science Mission Specialist.